And with us on the broadcast this minute is Jamil and Jaffer. He is the founder and executive director of the National Security Institute. He also served in the White House as an associate counsel to the president in the Bush administration. Thanks very much for being here with us. Earlier, when Joe Biden was asked about this Saudi Arabia trip, he justified it saying that, well, this would not change his stance on human rights, but the aim would be to promote peace in the region. How does that make sense?
Well, look, I mean, I think the president obviously is making a pivot at this point, as you correctly pointed out. He did indicate earlier on in his presidency that he wanted to make Saudi Arabia the pariah that he said that it was. And now he's realizing that as we've learned over many, many years, that Saudi Arabia is a critical part of the American alliance in the Middle East. It's a critical part of stability in the region and ensuring that we have access to Saudi Arabian oil and a good working relationship with that nation is important to America's security, as many presidents have realized, and President Biden is now coming around to that perspective, notwithstanding the very real human rights issues that are present in that country. As you mentioned, the killing of Jamal Khashoggi, an American journalist in the United States of the Washington Post.
What would you say the American president hopes to achieve with this visit to the region?
Well, look, I think for the region, obviously, there's a lot of challenging issues going on. We have Iran continuing to be a challenge, continue to export its brand of violence and terrorism throughout the region. They continue to stoke the conflict in Yemen. They continue to support Hezbollah. And so there are challenges with the Iranian relationship. Saudis are on our side of that issue, and it's important to bring them on board. Trying to find a path forward between Israel and the Palestinians, also something that needs to happen. And then doubling down on what President Trump began with the Abraham Accords and expanding those in an ideal world just to Saudi Arabia under Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman would be, I think, a goal of American policy in the long run.
Right, but the visit to Saudi Arabia specifically will be a climb down from his campaign promises. It is a significant U-turn. What would this mean for the domestic political scene in America?
Well, look, I think the president is going to take some heat from his liberal base on this question of human rights, particularly given his very strident statements, not just as a campaign during the campaign, but also as president. That being said, look, I think every American is challenged with gas prices being at an average of $5 across the country, higher in some regions. I think there's a recognition that that's going to cause a crimp on the American economy and is going to create real challenges for ordinary Americans who need to get to work every day in their cars. And so if the president can find a path forward with Saudi oil, I think that'll be a real benefit to the nation. I think that ultimately that will overcome any concerns that he faces with his liberal base on the human rights questions.
Jamil, thanks very much for being here on the broadcast with us and sharing those perspectives.